And the Elanga is moving to Newcastle United for £55 million from Nottingham Forest. And I can't lie, man. I'm very happy for Anthony Elanga. I'm very, very happy for him, man. Because here's a player who's been thrust into a difficult position at Man United where it's tough to grow. You know, it's tough to get experience. It's tough to improve. He gets sold for £15 million, goes to Nottingham Forest and has the top performances for 2 seasons, scoring goals, mainly assisting as well, being a constant threat. And now he finds himself going to a Newcastle United team that is all about physicality, transition, speed, and power. Completely suits his game. And now he's playing in the Champions League. Brilliant story. Brilliant story for young players about the belief to have in yourself. Brilliant stories for young players about making difficult decisions, coming through the academy at Man United since he was young, to making a difficult decision to be like, it's not where I need to be right now. I need to further my career. Being the main guy at Forest for a couple of seasons, and within 2 years of leaving Man United, his boyhood club, he's now playing in the Champions League for, you know, a very, very good Newcastle United team that are going places. Brilliant. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Fair play, Newcastle. You're getting a player who completely fits the style. If you look at Newcastle United and you look at the profile of players that they tend to go for, Andy Elanga is exactly that. He's exactly that. I think of now, you know, you look at what Jacob Murphy was doing last year. He was exceptional. And now you add Anthony Elanga on top of that as a sort of upgrade. No disrespect to Jacob Murphy, because he did really, really well. But Elanga is an upgrade on him. That's a problem. I tell you what, a front three of Gordon on the left, Isak up top, and Elanga on the right, transitions, teams are in trouble. Newcastle are willing runners. Newcastle are a very physical team. That is probably one of their biggest attributes. They all work hard. They all work their backsides off. Eddie Howe won't have it any other way. And Elanga also doesn't have it any other way. He is a proper athlete. As much as, you know, his end product has massively improved. He can get goals now. He can get a lot of assists now. He goes at his man every time. He's rapid as well. The way he looks after himself as well. He's a very explosive player. It fits like a glove to Newcastle United. So that's the front three. Very active, very physical, very quick. All three of them, Isak, Gordon, and Elanga. Then you look in the midfield. Of course, they need more. They need more, Newcastle United. We know this, but you got Tonali, Guimaraes, Joe Linton. I think Sean Longstaff's going to be on his way to Leeds shortly. But they need to invest into that area. Young Lewis Smiley as well, who looks fantastic. I like him. Then you look across the back line. Still some work to be done. Of course, Dan Burns getting on a little bit, but great servant to the club. Lascelles is probably on his way out. You got Trips there. Don't know what will happen with him. He probably would move on. But you got Livramento, Lewis Hall injured, but top player. You know, Botman. You're looking at some good players, man. Shah. So they need reimbursement. You know, they need to bolster. Newcastle United, it wasn't too long, everyone was laughing at them because they can't get no bids over the line for players. You know, they tried to get Gahey, James Trafford, and João Pedro, didn't they? I think it was. And it didn't work. You know, I still think they'll get James Trafford, to be fair. I think that deal will get done. But they missed out on Pedro and they missed out on Gahey. And, you know, there was a lot of reports about Gahey going to Liverpool. But so they've had to take a few L's. But I think this is a W, man. They're playing in the Champions League. And I just think for a lot of teams, that's going to be a problem. That St. James's Park already is a real tough place to go to. You already know what you're going to get in Eddie Howe's teams, especially at St. James's. And Elanga will be a breath of fresh air to the Toon fans. And the Toon fans are going to absolutely love him. They are Arts Forest fans about him as well, in terms of how refreshing he was. You know, look, as a United fan, I'm just happy to see him kind of break that mold of like, you'll probably leave United and it will probably never be the same. You know, you can't do this and you can't do that. And nah, the guy's playing a way higher level than Man United now. Do you know what I'm saying? So it just shows you, if you make the right choices in your career for you, you're not afraid to step out and put the work in. Within 2 years, look where he is. I was there for when Elanga scored his first goal in Europe against Atletico Madrid. Caught up with him after the game as well, and I remember how like happy he was. He just couldn't believe it that happened. He scored against Oblak, and he was just sort of just in like a dream, like, wow, I've done it. But to see him, you know, look how tough it was at Man United, Ralph Rangnick era, away out of the Oli era into the Ralph Rangnick, into the early Ten Hag. It was very, very tough for him as a youngster. But he's super strong-minded. You know what I mean? Got great faith in himself and his ability. And he's proved it. Made it 55 million to Newcastle United, man. Brilliant. And this ain't like why Newcastle United getting him? This fits, man. I think this fits like a glove. This is a perfect fit. I think for Newcastle United, man. Like a negative bet. That mate, when Man United played against Newcastle Forest last year, Elanga flipping ran the length of the pitch and scored in transitions. And again, that's how Newcastle United play. They can swamp you and swarm you and be a high pressing team. Elanga's got no problem doing that. Don't get me wrong. At Forest, it was more they sit off a lot, surrender a lot of possession. They'll be more on the front foot in Newcastle. They'll be expected to go after teams and go and get the ball back. But also they're very quick in transitions, man. They're probably one of the best transitional teams in the league. And actually, so were Forest. You know what I mean? Statistically, so were Forest last year. They were devastating on the counter-attack. By design, would surrender loads of possession and just absolutely break on teams. Towards the end of the season, they started to get found out a little bit. They got a little bit tired and just couldn't quite get over the line. But they still got European football at Forest next season as well, which is amazing for them. So I don't know. I'm really pleased, man. I like this move. And for Newcastle United, it's about depth. I remember listening to a Bruno Guimaraes interview last season. I think when they was on the pitch talking to the reporter, and basically he was saying we need more players. It wasn't in a disrespectful way, but we need more players. You know, you look at the injuries that they've suffered and the lack of depth. When you look at Newcastle United's like starting 11, is super strong. But when they had injuries to Joe Linton, they had injuries to Isak at times. When I had injuries, obviously at fullback, whether that be to Livramento at times or Lewis Hall, it's been difficult for them. But that's, you know, the likes of, you know, Joe Willock, Jacob Murphy did really well. Harvey Barnes was in and out of the team with injuries, but hopefully he can put that behind him. Who else had spent time injured? Centre backs, they had a lot of crisis there, injuries there. So there's a lot they still need to get. But, you know, I look at James Trafford, that is the next Nick Pope. You know what I'm saying? James Trafford is a fantastic top young goalkeeper. So, you know, you got the future of England there in him. You got the future of England in kind of Livramento and Lewis Hall. You know, that's promising. You got Isak, you got Gordon, who's part of the future of England as well. Lewis Miley is brilliant, part of the future of England as well. And then you got powerhouses like Tonali, Guimaraes, and Joe Linton still there. Listen, mate, Newcastle might be cooking up. Shout out Eddie Howe. And Eddie Howe, his track record of improving players as well. Let's not forget that. Pretty much every signing they get improves them. So I like it. Fair play, Newcastle United. Big up my boy Anthony Elanga, man. I'm pleased for him, pleased for his family. And yeah, let's see how they do. Let's see how they do. Smash a like on the video, people. I'm out of here. Take care. Peace.